And we are live. Welcome back to On the King's Dime. It's been a long time. It's been a while. And we're back just to have a quick chat, just checking in on yous before the preseason is going to be happening this weekend, I think it was. Did I say? Yeah, Saturday is our first preseason game. And that was the prompt to just go, oh, I haven't even done any research, haven't even looked at anything. It's been a crazy hell of an off-season. We're going to talk about that and about what's going on, and we're going to do a little bit more of a chat about just our feelings about this Kings team. We're not going to go too in depth. We are going to do a proper preseason preview now that things are kicking off and everything's about to start getting back into gear. But as always, you can like and subscribe. We are live on Facebook right now, and we'll put these up also on YouTube if you prefer to watch us on there. Then give us a subscribe on there. Like us on Facebook. We're on Twitter on the King's Dime, and I'll put these up on audio format on Anchor, the Anchor platform. I'm rusty, and you can listen to those on iTunes and what's the Google one again? Google Podcasts. I think it wasn't. Andy's connection's a bit average tonight, so you might hear some dropping in and out, but that's all right. It's a get the cobwebs out stream. It's get the rust off stream.
It is, mate. It's been a long time.
So yeah, like and subscribe. Yeah, it has been a long time, man. It's crazy off season. The lockdown that happened. I hope everyone out there is doing all right after that crazy lockdown. It kind of went a bit crazy halfway through. What was it, June-ish? That kind of kicked off, went nuts.
June, yes, and we all got stuck in our houses for 4.5 months.
Yeah, and it was look at me. I look like I've been stuck inside for 4.5 months, and it wasn't like the first one, but right, because the first one was like, man, I need a break from work. I need to be just getting up and walking to my computer 5 feet and doing work that way, and just a break from everything. And it came at a perfect time, and then it was like everything was getting back to normal, and then bam, this next one was different. It was weird.
Yeah, it was have a great 2 weeks holiday outdoors and enjoy the sun, to stay in your homes and we'll have helicopters flying over your head. So it kind of went from like, oh, enjoy the sun, get outdoors, spend a bit of time with you outdoors, see people outdoors, wear a mask if you want to stay in your house, do not move from your house. Why are you leaving your house? What reason do you have for leaving your house? it escalated very quickly. Very quickly.
This lockdown is now real. It was like, whoa. And it just came at just a strange time, like to go up and be like, oh, everything's going to get back to normal. We can think about the season that's going to happen. That we got a season that finished, and we actually got to watch basketball for a while, to just like dragging us back into the like, this is all real now. And it got a bit full on for a good month and a half. And yeah, it's probably changed the face of sport in the country, right?
This year, I don't see Taz.
Sorry, you might drop it in and out a little bit. Hopefully not for too long. Yeah, you dropped out.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Terrible audio. Yeah, I think Tasmania and Perth won't be playing home games for a little bit.
Yeah, that's tough too, man.
Perth won't be playing for pretty much half the season. They will be playing out. New Zealand won't be.
Good.
Oh, God again, jeez.
No, he's gone. We're just getting the rust out, just saying g'day to everyone out there and make sure everyone's all right. But the Perth one is interesting, man. Perth not playing a lot of home games is huge because they've got a massive kind of a big home crowd, as well as
syndicate.
Hey, the referee syndicate. Hey, the that old mate Nugsy retired, didn't he? I'm pretty sure, yeah, that Nugget ref retired to become the head of all refs in Australia or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, great, he's going to be teaching people. Yeah, this is great. But the Perth one actually is huge because they got a huge home following, and there's the whole, we've got to travel all the way over there and then all the way back. Like that's a massive sort of, the travel part is a massive part of, some of the fatigue that goes on in this league. Even though there's few games like that are being played over a season.
New Zealand.
Yeah, that too, right? And they're going to be over here, aren't they? Because we got that bubble going on yet, or
no? bubble starts, I think, in December with New Zealand, where they when they hit their vaccine targets, I think at 90%, then they can open up to. It's funny, you can go to Singapore now before you can go to New Zealand.
And we were playing games at the end of last year in New Zealand.
Yeah, we did. We played a couple of games there, didn't we? It was weird.
So even that, like, my just perception of what's happened in the last year and a half is just like, I can't place times and dates because I don't know where I've been. Like, I've just been at home doing things and I can't remember. But one thing that did happen though, the Olympics happened.
It did, and we finally achieved the greatest feat. We won a medal. Dude,
we should have won silver. That was just rough as to just be like, you're clearly the second best team in this entire competition. How about you just play America? It's like, yeah, thanks for that, everyone. Like, how about we just play America in the game that's going to mean we can't win us gold or silver? Thanks for that.
Yeah, I know. It's to do with the rankings. I think we were ranked like 4th coming into the tournament or something like that. We weren't ranked in the top 3. So it was USA, Spain, France, and then us. That's why we're in the same draw side as.
And then what was I texting you? What's Slovenia? Is that Luca's team?
It's just Luca featuring 4 dudes that, or 5 dudes that.
The first couple of games, though, they looked so good. And then you're just like, oh, you guys can't play like 3 games every 3 days. Or 3 games every 3 days. A game every 3 days. Well. Good luck, And even Luca, by the end of that, was like his wrist was banged up. He was blowing.
Yeah.
And I think we had a little bit more prep. Like, I could see our team was like, we're a bit more prepped for that.
We'd won a lot of games in the lead up. And I mean, Matisse Tybal was probably the greatest Aussie sensation to just come in and steal the block, and just phenomenal defensive player.
Dunks galore.
Yeah, dunks galore. Paddy just the tournaments. Delhi was okay. It'd be interesting to see how Delhi does this year back in the NBL.
He looked washed, man. I've got to admit, he looked really washed.
He's coming off a whole bunch of concussion and neck issues. Like Bainesy slipped in the shower and just is out for a year.
Really?
Yeah, he's out for a year. He's out for 12 months. He slipped in the shower in Tokyo and pinched a nerve in his neck and has to get surgery. He's out for 12 months. What a terrible way to get injured. But Delhi's a big one too. I'm happy that he doesn't have to play NBA. Like, he can just come to the NBL and, like, even if he's crap, it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. Melbourne's the premier team. They won the league last year. And that team was so far ahead of every other team that even if he's crap, and he's only going to bring that down a little bit. And then McCarron's left too, I think. McCarron's left Melbourne. Where's he gone? He's gone back to Adelaide,
I think he went to Adelaide. But yeah, we'll do a little bit more of a wrap-up. We'll make sure we do our reading of Matty Logue's. Shout out to Matty Logue's preseason stuff that we happily read through and then promote on here. So shout out to his stuff. If you want to read a good preseason preview, then check out Matty Logue's work. But yeah, I wanted to touch on how good was the refereeing in that, man. The refereeing in that tournament in the Olympics was like, they weren't taking any mess at all, and it was flowing, and it was just like, yeah, I don't care who you are. Like, it was a foul. I've called it. Let's move on. And you could tell straight away, like, a lot of the teams stopped whinging. They were just like, oh, we're not going to get anything. Let's just not whinge at all. And they made the game flow way better. And I just remember coming away from that tournament, even though I was like a bit annoyed that we ended up winning bronze, and we probably should have got silver, being the second best team in that tournament. I came away from that going, man, can we take your refs? Can we have just your refs to come and ref?
Yeah, but do you realize that the NBA actually took that out of it? So they changed the unnatural motion rule in the NBA, and now James Harden, Trae Young, and Luka Doncic are only scoring 20 a game because they're not going to the foul line 30 times.
They're not shooting like 12 free throws a game.
No, it's completely different. It's a completely different NBA game this year. It's so fun to watch because there's no whinging. There's no dodgy foul calls. Like, even Embiid's only getting 6 free throws a game. Like, it's good to watch. It's like, okay, we have to play differently. And it's all out of the Olympics because all the refs and the commentators were just up in arms at how good the Olympics was and how good the refereeing was, that they had to take that into NBA and make a better product. And it was good, man. It was a great tournament to watch.
And I wanted to cover it, but yeah, there's just too much going on, especially with the lockdown. And it was great to see. I mean, we didn't have any players from the Kings, did we? Cooks, I think, went over there, kind of cheerleaded a bit. I don't think he ended up getting any time.
No.
But yeah, it was great to see like a huge moment in Aussie basketball getting that bronze. It's great to see
Andrew Gay's crying.
all of them super happy. Like I was sitting there fuming that I was like, we should have won silver, man. But all of those guys so happy to win bronze, and like the elation that came out of that, you could feel it. Like you could just feel it as having watched, the last 10 years of basketball. You were just like, yes, culminated in a medal. It was great to see. Patty Mills as well. I think Patty might go to one more if he plays for Brooklyn for the next few years.
Patty will play. I mean, Patty's 32. He'll be 36. I think he can play at 36. He's just so small and crafty. But the future's bright, man. Josh Giddey is next level talent. Jock Landale's, playing.
Is he playing for Spurs?
He's not really playing. He played one game. Pop's like, 4 years in the team before you get a game. But, scored 10 points in 3 minutes. But, so that's good. Giddey's good. Green hasn't been getting much time. But,
Josh Green. Because they don't have Carlo anymore, do they?
No, it's Jason Kidd, and it's just terrible.
I don't know if it was the coach in that team. Like it was the coach, but I don't know if it was like the coach is going to fix that team, right? It just is a weird setup. Is Lucas still taking like 35?
No one plays defense.
Yeah, fair enough. Josh Green can play some decent defense. Sorry, keep going. You just dropped out a little bit there.
Yeah, sorry, no, he doesn't play, but that team is it's horrible to watch. I hate Dallas.
I just haven't had time to watch any NBA, man. It sucks.
Mate, the Bulls are fun this year.
Killing
so
it?
Good.
Who else? Anyone else has been good? Out of nowhere? Oh, he dropped out. What a perfect time to not talk about Charlotte. Charlotte are doing really well after we've just been wrecking LaMelo Ball for the last 2 years, and then apparently they started heaps hot as well.
No. They started hot, but they're cooling off now because they're not actually a team of players. They're just a team of, hoopers, as you would say.
He looks like I did see a little bit of LaMelo, and he looks a little bit better. He looks thicker and bigger because he was so wispy last year.
Yeah, he's definitely
Man, your internet, what's going on?
Man.
It just hasn't been used. It needs to warm up.
Nah. Just waiting. It's because it's been raining heaps.
Yeah. The old copper broadband. But we'll move to the back end of last season, the players we've lost. We're not going to go too in depth on this one, but it's worth talking quickly about the players that we lost. Craig Moller, it might be a big loss. Really, he was kind of a glue guy off the bench, a hustler, a guy that you'd always get a standard, and you would never be unhappy if that standard wasn't or if his performance wasn't great. You'd never be like, man, you didn't even try. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, you'd always be like, he tried his heart out, and that's what happened. So I think losing him is going to be interesting to see how this squad gels. Kickett obviously retiring. Brad Newley going to Adelaide a little bit. Brad was a little bit ordinary at the back end of last season. So hopefully... Wait, no, he didn't go to Adelaide. He went to Melbourne, didn't he?
Yes, he went to Melbourne.
Yeah, went to Melbourne. He came from Adelaide, and then now he's going to Melbourne. Kickett retiring. Casper Ware going as well was a little bit like I didn't want to get on the whole train of just like, yeah, good. I kind of was a bit like, I'm happy. Like, okay, like it's not you, it's me. It's like,
it's a good divorce.
You're a good guy, but I will not be that disappointed watching another team this season that features you. I don't know if that even made sense, but yeah, to have fun. It's like good luck, Casper. And emotionally as a fan, I kind of felt a bit like, oh man. But what I'm looking forward to going into this season is we've wiped a little bit of that slate clean. Where it was a little bit halfway between last year. Like, it was a little bit like, oh yeah, we've wiped a little bit, and then we're trying to keep some of that continuity. But now we've just gone like, bang, new coach, whole new front court pretty much with RJ Hunter and Jalen Adams. And then both the makers, is going to be yes. I don't even care if they're bad. I just want to see them play. I'm like, I want to see, there's one of the makers is going to be playing small ball 5 at some point in that entire thing. Yeah. And like running the point at the same time.
Yeah. It's going to be, it's an interesting comprised team. It's the depth is crazy. Because I mean, Bawali Bales, man, is a great little guard.
I saw some of him in that. You go.
In the Emus under 19 World Cup. He looked good, man. So did what's his name? Josh Galloway.
Yeah, is Jalen Galloway
Jalen Galloway.
the one we have, or he's got
Yes.
a brother? I'm pretty sure with an imposter Galloway. One of the Galloways looked pretty good for that Emus team. I can't remember who. Dyson, someone also looked good as
Dyson
well.
Daniels. He's playing. Yeah, he's playing for the G League Unite.
And
He's paid.
no good because Bale. Like the one thing that stuck out in that Emus was Bale's just looked super fast. Like wow, like the speed that he was playing at, even in that Emus where you can be sort of you can fall into a trap of like, oh, it looks really good in the Emus. And then he comes to play against men, and you're like, oh, right. Like, he's just a young guy, and he came up against men, and the men were like, you're not going to do all this stuff that you used to do. So it'll be interesting to see. He shot the ball quite well in that too. So I'd be interested to see if he can push the pace for us this season, if he comes off the bench in any sort of bench role. And then Wani Swaka Baluk, we're going to have to get used to saying that this season. He'll be coming around the mountain.
DP?
No, I think we signed him from Perth. Maybe he is DP. Doesn't say on the website. We'll have to go in depth. We'll get IT on that. And then the Jack Jumpers, new team, new another fixture.
Just 0-27. 0-27. They look pretty bad, man.
They do.
They look terrible.
Clint Steindl's playing for them. I think, didn't they sign...
They signed Will Magnay.
Yeah, okay. Magnay last year for Perth was
yeah.
like, whoosh, man, what happened to you? Who was the guy from Adelaide? McVeigh. They signed McVeigh. That's the other one I can remember.
Oh, Jared McVeigh. And they signed what old matey? Jared
McVeigh.
Weeks.
Weeksy?
Yeah, Weeks is playing for them.
Oh, Weeksy.
Yeah, mate. They got lacking a bit of coin down in
Yeah,
Tasmania.
well, it'll be interesting. It's a terrible name, like Jack Jumpers. Why? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go.
They have like an animal that eats things. Like what? They have Tasmanian devils. They should have just been the Tassie Devils, mate. That's
Tigers?
Like, why?
Tassie Tigers?
Yeah.
I suppose they already have. Like, didn't we already have the Melbourne Tigers? So you can't really pinch that name, I guess. But still, Jack Jumpers is like they had a list of 4, and that was the worst one, and they were just like, yeah, let's take it anyway. And then Perth, new coach Scott Morrison. I was like, that's a pretty unfortunate name.
Scotty.
Whether whichever end of the spectrum you lie, it's just like, oh, that's going to be the butt of jokes. There's going to be like titles, Parliament references, all sorts of bad puns are going to be made about that all season. And then the Melbourne juggernaut just rolling on. So I think they're going to be the team to beat this season. It's
I like the Kings team, man. I like this Kings team though.
Again, like I said, I don't know. I'll have to go back and check the tape. But last year, I think I was a little bit like, no, I'm cool to just sit back and watch this team. And then, as we do every season, it's like 2 games in, you just get roped in. You're just like, and then you start getting upset at different things when you start out just thinking, no, I just want to watch this team. But I feel like this season is a very just. We've cleaned enough of this to just go, right, it's a totally new team, even if it's bad, whatever. We've got a new coach, the pedigree of Chase Buford. A little bit of a strange scenario there where they opted out of that G League. So kind of he's coming off a little bit more of a break and a little bit less Weaverish pedigree, So I'll be interested to see how he goes.
They did win. The Wisconsin did win the G League that year, didn't they?
I think it got cancelled because of the COVID.
COVID, yeah.
And they were crushing. I think they were like 31-6 or something, 31-10 or something like that. And then the next season they opted out. So that's a bit of a strain. Like, who knows what you can read into that? You probably can't read anything into it, but it's still a little bit of a like, oh, they didn't play in that tournament. He's had a bit more of time. I watched a few. I remember when we first announced it, I watched a few of those games back then. It's a lot of 5 out, bringing the ball up, 5 out, and I don't know if that's really going to work. He's going to have to look at this, look at their FIBA rules and go, yes, I don't think I'm going to be able to play 5 out here because, you end up putting up a lot of shots and there's a lot of transition. And as we've seen in the last couple of seasons, this team doesn't do well when, we don't rebound the ball well. It's not when this team does well. But That's obviously something as a coach you can kind of overcome. And then DK joining the staff, so he retired and joined that'll be great. I think there really isn't another player though like him. You know, like we don't have that. Like, oh, DK can coach this guy to be just like DK.
Yeah.
Although,
look, one of the makers. What McCur's 6'10". You know, they're tall beanballs.
He's the point guard, bro, though, right? Or point guard.
Yes. Yeah, I think he's a 7-foot point guard.
So I've got it here. Yeah, Maturmaker is the center, and then McCurmaker is listed also as a center. But yeah, McCur, I'm pretty sure is the quote unquote point guard. But yeah, we'll do go a little bit more in depth on that. It's hard because I remember a couple of years ago when we were looking at Thonmaker, and then like I think it was McCur came on the scene, and we're like, whoa, look at this like 7-foot point guard, man. Was it Matur? I was like,
McCur's
whoa, this is nuts, man. And to have a couple of big guys, hopefully they can handle the ball. But again, like the rim protection part is going to be huge, right? We've lost Bogut in the last couple of seasons. Geordie Hunter last year, it was a huge load on him, and a lot of that rim protection was a massive issue where you were just like, you need a shot blocker. You know, like we're getting away with it a little bit, but we don't have that shot blocker. So hopefully one of those two can at least cement down. And then, yeah, Jarrell Martin again.
Solid pickup. We've got some good imports. I can't say.
I'm actually happy to watch him over Casper. What do you reckon? I don't want to say that, but I kind of am like, you know what? I don't mind watching Jarrell without Casper in that team.
It makes sense if you run through him because Adams isn't a like a ball hog point guard. He's more of a kind of shoot first point guard.
Yeah, he's like an all-rounder type of thing.
Yeah, whereas Casper kind of towards the end of it was just running and trying to get to the buck.
Yeah, like you need to score, but I need to score, so I'm going to try and score. Like, yeah, all right, but it wasn't like oh, I know where you operate. I'm going to do this and get you a bucket like that. Like a guy like Giddy would have been great on this team. You know, the team last year, right? Because Giddy, you know, didn't have had the shot in his bag, but it wasn't great. But at the same time, knew how to operate with these guys. Like, I just move here, you know, off a rub screen, get you a bucket, toss you the ball. Like things that Casper didn't really do last year. Like there was a lot of just, you know, no, I'm dialing myself up, and this is how I'm gonna like shoot the ball. And it was just like, doesn't gel with Martin. But the more I'm kind of thinking about it, the more I'm like, I'm looking forward to kind of seeing Jarrell Martin just like another season, you know, planning himself in the league a little bit more, and hopefully, Buford kind of comes in and goes, all right, we'll get him some nice touches. So many just high touches where you're like, and Jarrell puts it on the floor, beats 3 dudes, and lays it in. You're like, Jesus, like, can we make this a bit easier for him? Like, holy moly! Interesting. Sorry.
Anything's better than David. What's his face?
Where?
David where?
David where? The dude who hit that shot?
Yeah, David Ware.
Perth. Poor David Ware. Oh, man. But yeah, no, it's just a quick chat. We'll definitely go in depth. Yeah, Bawali Bales. RJ Hunter I've seen nothing of, so you know,
Celtics kind of
looks like Matt Barnes.
He does look like Matty Barnes. He's a good shot.
Good shooter.
Not great defensively. That's kind of the same thing with Jarrell Martin. Why they're not in the NBA. Great attacking players, but defense can be left to be desired.
And then DJ obviously is still injured, so I think he'll be back. Sort of started next year, right?
Just January, I think he's returned. December, January.
It'd be very interesting to see how he returns. Calf, was that a calf tear? Achilles,
yeah.
So rusty. Another huge injury to come back from, though, man. Scary.
It is scary, but he's pretty young. That's probably the best thing about it. He's not 30. I mean, it's a hard injury to come back from when you're 30, so a lot younger. He should be okay.
And then, what the hell? It just disappeared. Oh, man. Come back. Angus Glover coming back off his knee injury.
Let's just hope he doesn't do another day. Kid's knees are Tic Tacs.
I kind of, you look at his roster spot and go, That's a gamble. But at the same time, I'm also like, man, the amount of luck that he's had, like I'm happy to sit here and go, I want you to have a mad season. And if he has a mad season, it's going to be even better. Just be like, how sick is this? He came back from all these injuries and had a mad season. So I feel like that might be a little like a sleeper issue. If he actually stays injury free, he's going to have a good season. And then it's going to give a lift to everyone because, you know, it's a feel good story with the knees he's got. Yeah, Geordie Hunter's back again, going through the list. Shawnee Bruce is a backup point guard.
I like it. It's good.
Last year, he was noticeably bigger. Like, he'd gotten bigger to play a little bit more kind of all-round, less about shooting and passing, and looked like he was more, built to kind of get inside a little bit more. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And then Tommy V and Xavier Cooks. So
a good lineup.
Like, the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm like, I want to watch these guys play. It could be bad, it could be good, but I'm like, I want to watch some of these dudes play, man. Like,
this is probably the most exciting team since year one with Bogut.
That was a pretty exciting team.
This is probably the most.
That was a good team, but man, far out that first year. And then Bogut, like everyone just being like, Bogut, just score. And he was like, yeah, all right. And when he was just scoring the ball, and he was like, whoa, like, all right, did not expect this. Did not like playmaker Bogut that just turns it, I'm just going to score off the dribble. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, we can't, like, nobody can get in oops, but he can just score off the dribble. Like, all right, sure. And wins an MVP. But yeah, I'm like, how are you feeling anyway on the.
If it can all be put together, then I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a good season.
It's an inexperienced team, I feel like. I've written here in my notes. It's inexperienced in terms of NBL, but...
raw talent.
And
very high. Very high.
A lot of just happy to watch this team. Again, I'm going to keep saying it. Like, just happy, but whatever, man. Like, I just want to watch this team.
You've got 4 players that can play center. So, I mean, we've got depth. Which
we've gone from power forward depth to center depth. Yes. Upgrades.
Just like, and if one of the guards gets injured, mate, then you got a 7-foot point guard. It's awesome.
No, it's good. I'm just looking through my notes. Not much else really to cover on a cheeky check-in preseason type thing. Looking at our upcoming games though, in the Blitz, it's on KO Freebies, whatever that is. Oh man, I hope it's still on Twitch. Like, I can't have KO on with sound. Just, it's like gambling. It's just like, I can't do it. There's too many gambling ads. I have to mute it. Like, if it's on, I have to mute KO. And then like the hair loss ads, those ads where they're just the same ad over and over. So I hope it's back on Twitch where they just go and it's like it's out, or they just show the court. It's like watching NBA the NBA League Pass where it's not an actual broadcast, right? With ads, it's like they show the court and stuff and the crowd. But I don't think so. Everything I've tried to find, I don't think they're going to be streaming these on Twitch. So I'm like, God, nah, damn it. But yeah, so I don't know anything about KO Freebies. Do you know anything about KO Freebies?
I do not know.
I'm assuming it's free. Let's click on it, find out. KO
Is it part
Sports.
of KO, or do you have to download it extra?
Looks like it might be like a web thing. I clicked it. Says get full access. Don't know. It'll be interesting. So a free Blitz. We play Southeast Melbourne on Saturday night. I'm looking forward to putting the kids to bed, throwing on some highlights while I have this on as well. And then, taking some notes, reading some in-depth, watching some Maker highlights, some RJ highlights, Jalen Adams. So we play the Phoenix, and then we play Melbourne United, and then we play the New Zealand Breakers, and finishing off with the Hawks on the 27th. So that goes for a couple of weeks.
Or 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks. And then, bam, the season starts on the 5th. Haven't heard that it's definitely not starting. We got a round 1 clash against the Melbourne United at Kudos. Tough start for us, man. Melbourne Hawks at home, Melbourne away, Phoenix. That's a pencil that in as a win. Jack Jumpers And then Melbourne, Hawks, Bullets, Jack Jumpers. So 3 times we're playing Melbourne. Like, it could be like a mad start to the season, or it could be like 3-0-3 against Melbourne again. Damn. So that'll be interesting to see.
We'll know more after the couple of preseason games, I think.
Yeah, I think looking at how this team plays is going to be an indicator, right? That's so basic, but like actually seeing what this team can do is going to be interesting, because to go back to like a couple of seasons ago, you could tell the more you looked at this team, the more you watched it, you could tell where the zones were. Like, you're like, Bogut obviously is going to handle the elbow. We're going to have lanes for Newley to cut. You know, guys are going to come in and out of that sort of sequence. Whereas in this new roster, it's like, it's kind of like when Tate came in and nobody knew what Tate was going to do. And then you're just like, oh, wow, he just chubs everyone out on the boards. And it's just total putbacks for days, and then might shoot one in the corner to keep people honest. Like, perfect player for FIBA. And I think it's going to be a little bit like that this season, where we're going to have to look at this team and go, ooh, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, this person does this. So there might be a little bit of a feeling out period in this Blitz, and then straight into it for the new season. But yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, all right. So thanks, everyone. It's good to be back. Crazy off season.
Yeah, man. Let's hope that never happens again.
Hopefully we can try and do a little bit more content. I know we said last year we're going to try and do more content, and that, you know, and even in the off season we were, but things got a bit crazy. So yeah, hopefully we can do a little bit more content. So definitely subscribe on Facebook and on YouTube, and add us on Twitter. I'll try and do a little bit more tweeting as well. And on the Anchor platform, if you want to listen to us on that, and then that goes out to iTunes and Google Podcasts. And I'm not sure I think there's some other ones. I'll have to get back on the research on that, put it in my list and stuff. And as always, we will see you guys next time
on the King's Dive.